Everything that we do, it begins with a belief. And this is probably a subject that has never come up for you in supervision or in anything in terms of fostering. There isn't even really much talk on this when we go to training for the children. But what I want to share with you today, I really hope it lands with you. I hope you take something from this, a new sense of understanding for the way that you are, but also for the way that the children are in our homes. And it might give you a bit of an understanding as to why certain things happen in certain ways. And sometimes we don't always understand that. But today, I want the conversation to just flow as usual. So I've got myself a lovely cup of coffee. Let me know in the comment section if you've got yours. And let's just jump into this conversation because I think it's a well needed chat. So hello, welcome to Fostering Kingdoms. If you are new here, my name is Jess. I am the founder and CEO of Fostering Kingdoms. And between myself and my team, we have over 25 years worth of experience as foster carers. So I've created the Sustainable Fostering Framework to help carers go from being burnt out and exhausted and overwhelmed and learn how to become sustainable for the long-term journey. And we do that through the 3-part framework. And you can check that out by going to the description below or visiting us over at fosteringkingdoms.com/framework. But today I want to talk about beliefs. And I'm not just talking in terms of religion, but I want to open this up in terms of what do you believe? What are you running on? How are you running your home? What are your core identity beliefs? But also, what are you subconsciously believing? And I think that's a big thing, and it's not spoken about. I have never, in my 7 years as a foster carer, and even my years in the army, been asked, what do you believe? What are you running on? Like, what is your programming? And I think this is a huge thing for so many of us. When we don't have awareness to what it is that we believe, we don't have awareness to how we're behaving. And yet, so much of what we do, so much of the training that we go on is to understand child behaviors. Yet at no point does anybody ever talk about what does the child believe? What do we believe? How does that sometimes work in conflict with each other? What is the child's behaviours because of their beliefs? And there's so much that we can unpick from all of this. And this may be the first time that somebody is asking you this question. What do you believe? And I want you to just share in the comment section below. Let me know, what are you running on? Like, what is your core beliefs? And when I mean what are your core beliefs, I'm going to shock you probably with something. As human beings, I share this a lot with other carers. I just think it's so incredible. And when we know this, we can actually learn and grow so much from it. So as human beings, our 3 core beliefs that we all run on is I'm not good enough, I'm not loved, and I'm not worthy. So when you understand that subconsciously we run on these 3 core beliefs, this is going to give you so much awareness into your behaviors, but also awareness into the children's beliefs and patterns and behaviors as well. But when we understand that there are 3 cores, let's go a little bit deeper on that as well, because they're like the bottom. But then we also have beliefs that may be subconscious, and you may be thinking, well, I have to keep everybody else happy. And there's a behavior to that belief. So the belief is over here, I have to keep everybody happy. It's my job to fix everybody. It's my job to make everything right. But then our behaviors, they become never saying no to things, not having strong boundaries, leading ourselves to burnout and even resentment at times. When we're in the state of I need to fix everybody, then we start over functioning, we start pouring out too much into everybody else, we start taking on too much, and then you even start to feel guilty when you sit down and have a cup of tea. So when we can understand that our core beliefs, they impact on our behaviors, but then our behaviors, we kind of go around in this big circle. So when we behave in that way, it deepens our belief of thinking, yeah, I have to keep everybody else happy. And if I'm burnt out and stressed and exhausted, it's because somebody isn't happy, so therefore I need to do more. And you can find yourself stuck in this loop. But just like us as adults, we live on those core beliefs, so do children. They also live on, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, and I'm not loved. So when we can then understand that these three core beliefs, these are what our children are running on, whether that's biological children or looked after children, when we understand that that is the core of us as human beings, and you can do so much unpicking on this, but they're ultimately our core. Whether we like that or not, they are just inherently what we subconsciously take on. So then, if we look at looked after children, so they're running on, I'm not good enough, I'm not loved, I'm not worthy. They've then been removed from the adults that are supposed to give them safety, love, compassion, caring. They've been removed from all of that. They're then going to be also running on things like adults always leave me, no one wants me. There could be a multitude of different beliefs that are going to get stacked onto that. But I think one of the biggest ones is when they do feel like adults are always going to leave. And I've seen this so many times. And the children begin to push people away. They start to reject any sort of affection that you might want to give them. They're going to start testing your boundaries. They'll start sabotaging the relationship and just breaking it down, because their brain is consistently seeking validation. So if their brain is always adults leave me, their behavior is going to cause people to want to walk away. Unfortunately, that is just the reality. So many kids will push people to the point of breaking, and that just reaffirms their belief of, see, I could be at my absolute worst and I'm going to be left. No one cares. No one loves me. Not good enough. And we get stuck in that loop cycle. Just consistently, our beliefs dictate our behaviors impact on our beliefs, they deepen it, so our beliefs, our behaviors, and it just becomes this consistent, well, I believe this or behave that, oh look, they've done this, so yeah, I've got to behave this way. And it's when we can understand that for ourselves, and we can understand that that's the behaviors that the children are doing, and it's not always intentional. Like, their beliefs of adults always leave me, it's not personal to you. I think this is one of the things that so many people get wrong, is when children try and push you away, you take that personally. When they try and break down a relationship, you can take that personally. When they're just trying to seek validation for their belief, their brain is saying, well, this is what I believe. You need to behave in a way that is going to validate my belief. And they're just stuck in a cycle. It's not a personal attack on you. They are literally just seeking validation to prove that they are right. When they are not getting that immediate validation in their brain, it can cause them a bit of discomfort, a bit of pain, and it actually causes their behaviors to increase because their brain hasn't had the validation that it was seeking just yet. So their behaviors might get ramped up. You'll see that they start lashing out more. They start pushing you away faster and firmer. Maybe that's physically, maybe that's emotionally, maybe that's just them completely shutting down and just don't want anything to do with you. Their brain is trying to find ways to seek that they're right, because that's what our brains do. When we're right, we're safe, and our brains are programmed to look for safety. So if I believe that you're going to leave me, I'm going to do everything possible to make sure that my belief is right. Because when I'm right, I know that my brain feels safe because I've proved everybody else wrong, haven't I? I'm right. But in actual fact, that child doesn't always want to be right, just the way that the brain is programmed. Maybe that child doesn't want to be left, but they don't always understand that their belief is causing their behavior. So as adults, we cannot just go in and just click our fingers and change their belief. We also cannot go in, click our fingers and change their behaviors. But we have the power to understand our own beliefs and the beliefs that we're bringing into fostering. So I'm going to ask you again, what are your beliefs? What are you running on? And I know this conversation is probably really heavy for you right now. So just take a moment. We're just going to breathe, because even I'm like, Jess, that's a lot. So let's just have a moment. And I want to just pull this back into scripture, because I think when we can anchor it back into the Bible, anchor it back into God's word, this will give us so much strength, so much awareness. So in Romans 12:2, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And I think this is so important, because so much of the time we're taught that we need to change their behaviors. We need to do something physically with children, with ourselves, to change our behaviors. When in actual fact, the Bible teaches us we need to renew our mind. We need to have awareness to what it is that we're believing, and we need to change our beliefs, because when we can change our beliefs, it will change our behaviors. The behavior is just a byproduct of the belief. So when we can focus on the belief, we can change the behaviors. And I've seen this in my own journey, where I've believed that I've had to be more confident before I can do something, when in actual fact, I just needed to change my own personal perception of myself. I just needed to change the script in my own mind. I needed to deepen myself into God's word and not listen to the enemy that was just on repeat in my mind, because my body tries to validate my beliefs. So if my belief is I can achieve the goals that I set for myself, and I start having that on repeat, my behaviors are going to shift from wanting to just sit and doom scroll and waste my time to actually, what are the things that I need to do in order to get to my goals, because I believe that I can achieve my goals. Whereas before it could have been not good enough, you're not going to achieve your goals, what's the point in even trying? So my behavior would match my belief. If my belief was I was overweight and lazy, and this was my belief for a long time, and I shared this before, I've lost over £100. I think it's close to like 7 stone. But my belief prior was I was fat, I was lazy, what was the point? Didn't work anyway. But I had to have the renewing of my mind. I've had to start saying to myself that my body is a temple, that I am capable, that I can do hard things. And over time, the more that I've, renewed my mind, my behaviors have had to match what it is that I'm saying in my mind. So I encourage you to not just look at the children in our homes and see their behaviors, but start asking the questions like, what is it that they believe? What are they actually running on? Because their behavior is just a reflection of their beliefs. And you can start doing that for yourself too. Ask yourself, what are the beliefs that I'm carrying in my fostering role? What do I believe? And it could even be that you believe that you're trying to fix everybody. You believe that a child is a bad person, and that's causing you to distance yourself. There could be a multitude of beliefs that you are carrying, whether you are consciously aware of them or if you're just running on the subconscious programming. But your beliefs dictate your behaviors. The children's beliefs dictate their behaviors. So when we can come back and focus on the renewing of our mind, it will have a big impact on our behaviors and also on the children's behaviors. And this is one of the things that I really wanted to open people's awareness to through the sustainable fostering framework. And it's not just about learning new strategies, but it's about identifying and renewing the beliefs that quietly shape every decision that you make. It shapes every relationship, every reaction that you have. And this doesn't just apply to foster carers. The framework can be applied to foster carers, parents, social workers, or anybody who's trying to build a sustainable life. These principles, building on your foundation within your faith and what that actually means to be a child of God, to understand that you can completely change your life and other people's lives by understanding the things that you believe, by understanding the programs that you are running on, but also what these children are running on. And I know today has probably been like, whoa. And I know I've said this before, and this is a heavy subject, but it isn't one that gets talked about often enough. I've never had supervision and been asked, what are your subconscious beliefs? How are you running your home on those beliefs? I've never experienced a child having a behavioural meltdown or a particular situation and a social worker say to me, what do you think they believe about themselves that's causing them to behave in this way? I've never had that. People just want to try and fix the behaviours without understanding that their behaviours are a result of their beliefs. So I like to challenge foster carers or anybody within the social care sector really to not just look at people as their behaviours, but to look at them for their spirit, their mind, their beliefs, and their programming. What is it that subconsciously they are seeking? What is it that subconsciously they're running on? And I think when we can start looking at that, it is going to help us when it comes to the behaviours, because the behaviours are just a result of the beliefs. So let me know in the comment section below, what have you taken from today's video? Are there things that you are subconsciously running on? Are there things that you think, actually, yeah, because I kind of think this, maybe I am behaving in that way. Maybe I am trying to fix everybody and it's causing me to just overgive and feel burnt out. Maybe I do believe that I have to be there for everyone and continuously just pour out. But maybe I'm just really burnt out and exhausted right now. Or your beliefs could be completely different to that, but let us know in the comment section. Your beliefs are going to help other people to know that they're not alone. We all run on different beliefs. They all crop up at different times and we'll all behave in different ways. But ultimately, they come from our beliefs. And I truly believe that Fostering Kingdoms is going to help so many people. But I can't do that without your love and your support. So I'm just inviting you today to simply subscribe to our channel, share this video with a fellow foster carer, and also comment below, because that just helps the algorithm push it out even more. I am so grateful for you being here with me today. And if you're not ready to leave and you think, Jess, I've got my brew, like, let's keep chatting, I will catch you on the next episode, or I'll see you inside the Sustainable Fostering Framework. Either way, I look forward to having more chats with you.